Welcome to the TechHub.training Excel Cleaning Government Data Challenge Solution. Hello, and welcome to this video solution for this week's weekly tech challenge. You should be able to download this. This is the Excel sheet included in the tech page. Wherever you found this video, the sheet has to be there too. So yeah, let's just dive right into it. There's definitely multiple ways to clean this data and present this data, but I'm going to show you the way I like to do it. I like to use tables a lot in Excel. They're very useful for filtering, for presenting, and so I'm going to show you how to do a regular table and how to use a pivot table. And so the first thing we want to do is we want to make all the Salt Lake cities in this city tab the same. There's a bunch of different ones. There's Salt Lake City, there's like North Salt Lake, all this stuff. So let's just make all of this data into a table so we can easily filter it. So you want to select all the data. I just did Control Shift left and then, or Control Shift right, Control Shift down. Just select all the data, go to this Insert tab, click on Table, and this will convert all of the data into a table. And you can see here, all the states have been are shown. And if you click this little down arrow, you can see that everything is presented here. So we're just going to look for the names that could be Salt Lake. So like this one, and Salt Lake is North Salt Lake. We're just going to combine all of this. North Salt Lake City, South Salt Lake, Sail Lake City, Salt Lake City with an extra space, Utah City, SLC, South Salt Lake, South Salt Lake City, yeah. So our boss apparently just wants to know about the Salt Lake area. So we don't have to worry about all this other data, but yeah, that should be all of them, I think. Go ahead and click OK. And now you want to make sure all of these just say Salt Lake City, like this one does. So what I do is I do an equal sign, make it a formula. So now every value with this formula will say Salt Lake City. And if you just double click this green box down here, it'll change all the visible formulas or all the visible values to the formula that I wrote there. So if you wait a little bit, should take effect, and there we go. So it didn't affect all the hidden values. Those are all still the same, but everything we selected is now just Salt Lake City. And so perfect. So we can select all again. And the next thing it wanted us to do is delete things without an NAICS code and also things without a business type. So what you want to do here is you want to deselect all and just go to the bottom, this NAICS code button, arrow button, and then click blanks. Perfect. Now it's showing all of the blank values for that. Now you want to be careful because if you highlight this all and then you delete it, you go over here and delete this, and then what that'll do is it'll delete everything in between the 829 cell and the 2825 cell and the 6705 cell, because that delete row button, even if the cells aren't being shown, it still thinks they're highlighted and will delete them. So instead, what you want to do is you want to do the control minus sign. Delete entire. Hold on. Let me just make sure I got this right. So you just want to, yeah, I guess I do. I do want that control minus sign. I didn't, I guess you don't want that. So that shouldn't pop up. I'll just click cancel and reselect all the rows again. And then that should leave everything behind. Yeah, and there will be no blanks left. So go ahead and select all, and we're going to do the same thing for the business type. Anything that's blank, we're just going to delete. Go ahead and oh, and then control -sign. Perfect. So now everything is still there except the ones we deleted. Yeah, so it's a lot of data. And so in order to present this data or find out the answers to our questions, I think the easiest way to do it, there's several ways to do this again, but I like to make tables. So insert, and this time we're going to do a pivot table. And go ahead and create one on a new worksheet. And so in this pivot table, I believe the prompt was, which businesses are receiving the most loans in Salt Lake City? Which types of businesses? So we want to make sure the city, things are being filtered for Salt Lake. Bum, bum, bum. This is the only city we care about. There we go. And then the business type, we can put in rows. And then we can put the amount of loans, the loan ranges that they're getting. So the count of loan ranges. And if you want to expand this, you can put this in columns too, and in values. That way you can do like deeper analytical work and you can be like, huh, interesting, corporations. So it looks like corporations are getting the most amount of loans, but they're mostly getting the small loans. Looks like LLCs are getting the big ones. They're also getting a lot of loans, but they've got 5 to 10 million loans. That's a lot of money. And you can report that to your boss. You guys can budget properly for the next quarter, all that stuff. Yeah, the one getting the least, it's the nonprofit child care center. Oh, shame. Okay, well, self-employed individuals. Why are they getting so little? And that's something you can bring up with your boss. Maybe be worried about that. I don't know. Maybe there's only one in Salt Lake. But yeah, that's something you can look into. And then the next prompt, which NAICA code receives the most amount of loans? So this should be pretty easy if we get rid of this and just put the NAICA code into rows. Oh golly, there's a ton here. So in order to make this easier, what you can do is you can left click here, and if you click sort largest to smallest, the most will come up. So it looks like 541110 is the row getting the most amount of loans. And what you can do is you can look what that is. Each of these codes represent a type of industry that those companies are in. They're pretty specific, but they have to report to the government which type of industry they are, and they put in this code to show. So it'd be interesting to see what industry that is. So yeah, that is the solution to the questions for this weekly tech challenge.